Hey, what up, guys? John here, LinksWell Together podcast, episode, I believe, 34, and it's our first international. That's right, we're up here in Toronto at the CMA Expo. So what do you say we get going on our episode 34, our very first international one right now. All right, guys, what's up? We are here, Toronto, for the CMA Expo. What up, Vic?
Hey, internationally, huh?
International, dude.
All right.
That's how dope our podcast is. We are now international.
That's right.
We're an international superstars.
There you go.
Like we are known up in the Great White North.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, missed you last show.
I know. I missed you guys too. I really wanted to be there.
It was nice hanging out with Justin. I like hanging out with Justin.
Yeah, Justin's cool.
Justin's cool. Love that. Man, it's been we've been talking about the travel we've been doing this year.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's been back to back to back.
So much travel. Like I think when we get back from Toronto, we'll have been about 101 days into the year, and I have been on the road for shows, 26 of those.
Wow.
Yeah, so pray for me and my wife and our marriage and my kids, because travel was never in our plans. But to build a brand, you got to do things and whatnot. And so funny enough, on Tuesday night, I'm home barbecuing some chicken for dinner. And like always, folks are messaging our Instagram and whatnot late at night. And so somebody messaged and responded to a story. It was a re-story, so it was somebody tagged us, and it was a re-story just of them updating their radio and whatnot. And this person messaged me and responded to our story and said, "Looks like you guys have a lot of issues still, according to all of your user reviews." And I was kind of torn back a bit. Like, that's quite an assumption to make. Like if you haven't actually used our product,
right?
That's quite an assumption to make.
Yeah.
But I responded. I was like, well, in all actuality, you're hearing from like 5% of the actual end users. Like we have far more folks excited than not excited, and most people don't do anything but complain.
Yes.
And so I just kind of went back and forth with them, and then just kind of walking through like why we're different.
Yes.
Than other people in this market when it comes to our product line.
Right.
And honestly, like I was messaging because this guy actually was from Canada.
Oh.
So he actually said how expensive it is to get our product in Canada because we're in US, so there's all the costs that it takes to get it there.
Right.
And so when he said he was up in Canada, I said, actually, we're flying out tomorrow morning at butt crack of dawn, right? Like
yeah, it really was.
Dude, I was on the freeway by like 2:45 in the morning,
Yeah, same here.
Got here, barely landed in the snow.
Yes.
Ended up on the I had to run to the bathroom because I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, we're almost there. And then we ended up on the what do you call that? The tarmac or whatever for an hour after we landed before we actually got in. Dealt with the snow, got here, and whatever, all of these things. But it was one of those, like, we've been coming to these shows as LinksWell for years, right? Years and years and years. And about the only show you ever see one of the other brands is usually just SEMA.
Right, that's right.
And for us, like I said, man, this is day 23 this year that I've been out of the office for shows.
Yeah.
And the shows we're hitting are dealer shows because we're talking to not end users, but we're talking to dealers, we're talking to guys. And I actually said that in this message, says that, look, because we don't sell direct to the consumer, we sell to shops, which means we're selling to people who this is their livelihood, right? They're professionals.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And so if our product was so undeveloped and crappy, there's no way a self-respecting stereo shop would carry our product.
Correct.
Right? And here we have over 1,000 dealers. We're international. Here we are in
Canada,
Toronto for the third year, mind you.
Right.
Since CMA kicked off, we've been here every year.
Yes.
Hanging out with AutoMob. You guys can check out our interview with Nima. We had Nima came out K-Fest earlier this year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I interviewed him.
That's right.
And so it just had this moment like, you know what, man? We need to talk about that.
And you're going to see more here in Toronto at the CMA Network show. you're going to see more dealers that are going to come here and that are going to share with you their experience with our products, right?
Yeah.
And you know, as far as pricing goes, I mean, you know, my personal opinion about pricing is price is only an issue in the absence of value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
because you got to understand that when you're buying a LinksWell product, and I wish more people, end users, dealers, would look at videos like the ones that we put out, because at the end of the day, you're not just buying an electronic piece of equipment. You're buying an entire support system behind it. Now, we said this early on in our like, you know, episode 2 or 3 podcast where we talked about, listen, if you spent $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 on any one of our products and it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, we want to know. Because if I were you, I would also not be happy. And I would want to be happy again with my purchase. So ultimately, you may just be going about the wrong procedure as far as getting yourself some service. And a comment on a video isn't going to get you service.
It's not usually.
You know what I mean? It's you reaching out to an authorized dealer. And if the authorized dealer isn't competent enough, then there's more.
They can they call us.
And if you get through 5 different dealers that aren't any help to you, you can always email us directly.
Off the website.
There's 5 of us total that are knowledgeable and can help you with the product, but there's 3 that are constantly on a desk, on a phone, in front of a computer, where if they're not on the phone, they're on the computer looking at email. So all these different things are designed to help you. And if you talk about pricing, guys, you know, it costs money to have a support system behind a product as high tech as ours, right? So ultimately, I think that all those different points need to be looked at before somebody says, "Oh, it's expensive to get one of your products." Well, my iPhone is expensive.
It is.
And I didn't buy it because of price. I bought it because of value. Right? I'm able to do more than just phone calls. And the company behind it too. I know that if something happens to it, I can set up an appointment. Not tomorrow, not this weekend.
Not tomorrow. No, it's a couple weeks.
A couple weeks from now at the Genius Bar. And you ever wonder why you can't set up an appointment?
It's because they're fixing a lot of stuff, man.
Because they've got issues too. Welcome, dude.
Welcome to technology. But and so I think that's kind of a learning curve. And we've talked about, I feel like we talk about this a lot, but that's kind of a learning curve with our product is you've never had a car stereo as high tech as us.
Correct.
So you've never had a car stereo that you've had to deal with the high tech issues with. So of course your Kenwood or your Sony or your Pioneer never had XYZ. Because they never had all of the extra, you know,
the extra
abilities.
Features and functions.
They just couldn't do it.
Right. That's right.
So, but it just kind of was hitting me. I'm like, and I told the guy, I said, hey, the fact that, you know, we're taking the money to fly 3 guys all the way from Southern California to Toronto, put them up in a hotel for 6 days, and then fly them back, and then we'll come back Monday night, and then Friday morning we're in Pomona setting up for the Overland show. You know, like just in our dedication to represent ourselves and our brand in all of these different arenas. I feel it definitely sets us apart a lot from most of the other brands like us, because they're not out there doing that, right? They're going to make whatever Instagram post or Facebook groups, or sounds like somebody's having some fun over there.
At the simulators.
The simulators. Well, I don't know if the mics are picking it up or not, but we'll find out.
I'm glad we have these mics here that you can hear us.
They're a little better, but anyways. Just like the dedication we have to not just brand represent, but as you said, we've got 5 guys always there to help you. And then the other thing, like I mentioned to somebody, I think when we were down, we were down at the bar last night or something, we were just chatting somebody up from the industry and just talking about, like, I've been in this industry since high school, right? So 98 is when I got in this industry, and I will be completely honest with you, until 2017 I worked at a stereo shop. And I don't know that I ever once in my life spoke to an engineer of a manufacturer. I've spoken to tech support, salesmen, but I don't know that I've ever spoken to an engineer, right? And that made me stop for a moment, because like our Super Wong, like whenever we get to a point where tech as a tech, we can't fix an issue. like our head engineer, lead engineer, the main man who's overseeing pretty much like 16 different development teams.
Yes.
He's the one who responds.
Yeah.
He often will write a special code because sometimes there's a truck that just has something different in the CAN bus. And so like for me it's one of those like, man, tell me another brand ever.
No, nobody does. And not just
that gets you an engineer.
That's an amazing point because, you know, from a tech support department perspective is we're going to find out, is it plugged in correctly? Is there a settings that can fix your issue? Is there a backdoor USB update that we can send you that's going to fix your issue? Or replacing a part, right? We're gonna try and find out if any one of those things can fix the issue that you're having. However, if it's an issue that we haven't seen or it's unique to your vehicle, that's when we plug in our engineering team. That alone right there, it's guys, no one, like you said, is doing that.
No.
I mean, good luck just trying to talk to somebody about the issue you're having with some of the other brands. Try calling Apple directly. You're gonna get referred to an Apple store. Right? Now, the only other thing is, and not just end users, dealers have had the same experience where, hey, you know what? Let me pipe in our engineering team, send me a video because a video will help me relay the information a lot better than me just typing that up. Let me show them what issue you're having, and then we'll pipe in our engineering team, the shop that we're working with, and all of us in there to find out what we could do. And sometimes, like you said, our lead engineer will put together a patch that's going to help you fix your problem.
Specific for that guy.
Because if we knew, hey, the problem you're having, you know what? Replacing it is going to help it. Let's replace it. Right?
If that's what fixes it.
Right. But if we're not sure, like, okay, it's like not a harness, it's not a setting, it's not a firmware, and I don't think replacing it is going to fix it. We don't want to just kind of keep you waiting. Oh, second unit, and it's now this. No, let's find out more details. So ultimately, you know, if I were consuming a product like ours, we are the kind of company that I would want to deal with.
Same.
For the same reason. I want to be happy about spending my dollars with a company like this.
And then just to a nod to our guys, right? Justin, Art, Micah, I love those guys to death, and it's funny, just so you guys know, like, there are limitations to what we can do as technicians, and it has to go to an engineer, right? Like, there's certain points to that. And when these guys have worked with a customer or a dealer, and they've gotten to a certain point where they can no longer push on, all of them dread having to put it up to the engineers because they just want to get an answer. Like, the guys, like, if our team did not care for the user, then us saying give it to the engineer, they'd be like, sweet, because they'd want to wash their hands from it. But all three of those guys hate having to bump it up to the engineer because all three of those guys genuinely want to fix the problem and get you going. So like, I don't know, like, get talking to them and I've had to have numerous times with them. I'm like, all right, man, you guys, you're gonna have to kick that up to the engineer guys. And they're like, there's nothing else we could do. And they ask the question, I'm like, guys, I love you, dude, but like all you're going to do is exasperate the end user or the tech because you're going to keep having them try things which aren't really going to go anywhere. Like, the best thing you can do, get it to the engineers. You've done your best, you know, but they just struggle with walking away from a problem not fixed, which I think, again, is one of those like nods to really what we're trying to do as a brand and be so different that, like, what tech support team fights and wants to stay on the phone and help you figure out what's going on, you know?
Very few companies have personnel that actually, you know, take ownership of their roles. And I think that our guys, you know, all three of them,
they do.
Really do, because you know, they really want to help you out. I mean, we log every single one of our calls, and every time that column at the end that says, was it taken care of? You know, they thrive on putting yes in green, right? They thrive on that. They don't want to in progress or no, it wasn't taken care of. Like, they're not satisfied with that. They're satisfied with, yes, it was taken care of, right? So ultimately, you know, one of the things that I like and I, you know, am prideful of is everyone here takes position of their roles. And that's very important because again, man, look, I always put myself in the consumer shoes.
You do your best to, right?
Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to be in a situation they're in, whether it's with our products or somebody else's product, whether it's for my car, for my house, for one of my kids. I'm going to consume a product that I'm going to ultimately not be happy with. And if I'm going to deal with a company, man, I pray and hope that I deal with a company like us. That's there.
Actually trying.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So, yeah, man, I just that was my epiphany. Like, we're headed out to Toronto. I miss my family dearly.
I know. Well, here's another one too, so we can go back a little more. So we're here facing dealers. This is industry professionals. These are shops. We talked about the next couple of shows, Pomona, Costa Mesa. These are end user shows. Like these are
retail public.
This is open to the general public. So not only are we putting in front of shops who represent our products, but we're also putting ourselves in front of retail customers, the people that are buying our products. And we're telling you where we're going to be. You guys want to come by and chat it up, talk to us about how happy or how unhappy you are about your purchase, your experience. We want to know, because at the end of the day, we want to make it better. We don't want to make it worse.
Agreed. Yep, totally agreed. And we literally had this whole conversation about trying to get some of the guys away from desks into some of these shows, because there's a benefit, especially the dealer shows, for some of these guys getting to see face to face. Because I mean, every show, and like, we love all our dealers and all of our techs. There's a lot of you guys. Like, you figure we've got 1,000 shops. Let's say conservatively, there's 5 technicians at every shop. That's like the chance that we're speaking to like 5,000 different people. So when you walk up, like, hey, what's up, John? I'm like, and then
where do I know you from?
And then there's like 18 shops with the same name, and like 6 different
there's like Extreme Audio. Are you the one with the EX or with the X?
Or what state are you in? All those things. But it's always really good to get an opportunity for just people to see that face to face. But I just I felt like, I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I just felt like let's just put it out there. Like, like, we've got some naysayers, and they're what they are, but for what it's worth, like, take a moment and pause and just consider how much work we are doing on putting us out there as a brand and not hiding behind the internet. Right. We've got live support. We're here live at the shows. We deal with, like, I think every show I've been at, somebody's walked up and said, hey, you guys sent me this update, this didn't work. And like, I have FaceTimed numerous techs at shows because one of their other, their shop manager or something was here. And if we didn't care for our product and we didn't want to make high-end product, we wouldn't do any of this. Because this show is not cheap. Like, it costs money to be here.
Putting 3 guys in a hotel room, right? And guys, not all 3 of us are in the same room. No, like, we have our own room.
3 rooms.
And I've worked with companies where they'll put 2 or 3 guys
in one room,
in the same room for the sake of
money.
But you talk about putting 3 guys in a hotel room. It's not this. We're not all in the same room. So like you said, it costs money. This is an investment that we're making towards the industry to be able to bring you quality, support, and best of all, warranty.
Well, and we're here. We're going to listen to dealers. Like, we always listen to input. Like, there's actually a whole thread going on as we're talking about power sports stuff, and there's a company that we're talking through. Like, hey, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? So, like, we're always listening for new ideas and whatnot. And a lot of times these shows are where we get that input from. So, I don't know. I just felt like, hey, man, this is an opportunity. Like, at first, I was a little frustrated with the comment, right? Like, the message, like, oh, it looks like you guys need more work to do. And I was like, who the f*** are you that you can say that? But then I was like, you know what? Like, first off, we know that we're fighting a dragon when it comes to brand recognition and letting people know that we're different than all these other brands out there. We know we're fighting a dragon because there's 2 or 3 manufacturers out there that are selling to 16 different other branded companies. And those guys are just trying to make that quick money on the internet, like Amazon, quick money on Amazon, quick money on eBay. Like, they're not trying to create dealer bases. They're not trying to create groups of people that can put input back. Like, they're just trying to get out there and get some money, where we're trying to make a brand, that is known. Like, we want to be a brand that when you say our name, you think of high-end stuff. You think of like pushing the envelope, those who are thinking outside the box and wanting to do more. Like that's what we're trying to do. That's why we spend this money to come up here. That's why we spend all the money and we build the cars we build and the products we build and we hire the guys we hire. Like we're genuinely trying to do that. And so being here in Toronto, you know, dealing with the bipolar weather, you know, the three of us away from family, having to live in a hotel, having to eat out three meals a day, all on the company's dime, because as far as the company's concerned, this matters. Being here, talking to dealers and whatnot, it matters. And so
and to all you dealers, take the time to learn and educate yourselves. The technology is moving, right? Let's not get stuck, because you know, end users are always emailing us. Hey, I'm in this state. Here's my city. What do you where do you recommend me
what
going?
shop do you want to go?
Right,
should I go to?
Right. And so, you know, take the time to do that. You know how many shops I talk to, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know your unit, you know, did that."
This,
and we've gone through that on some of our training videos.
Yep.
And so, take the time to plug in.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you help the end user, and it's gonna help you have a more positive outtake on the results.
Third Thursdays every month we do the training, except last month because I had major technical difficulties while I was at Master Tech.
Oh,
so didn't get to pull that one off. But third Thursday trainings, if you're ever at these shows. And honestly, man, we are here for you. Like Vic said, we're hoping to get a bunch of Canadian dealers in here in our little makeshift corner in our booth to do a little dealer interviews. And so we've done them at Knowledge Fest, we've done them at SEMA, we've even done remote ones. So if you guys are a shop and you're a LinksWell dealer and you just aren't able to get to some of these shows, I get it. Like most of these shows end up on the coast, and so if you're in the middle or you're on the other coast, like it's hard to get to. You're a small shop. Like I don't remember going to many of these shows at all when I worked at the shop I worked at, just because you can't pull techs away. You know, you got to keep the company going. So for those of you who aren't able to come and would love to do an interview, man, I'd really, really, really would love to get you guys called in. We can walk around your showroom. You can tell us all about your shop, what you got going on, and we'll just talk about why LinksWell is a benefit to you, and how LinksWell has been, you know, how our relationship has gone and whatnot. We'll put it on YouTube, throw some money behind it, and get it out there. So dealers, let me know, because we'd love to get you on here. But with that, man, I think people know now what makes us different.
Yes.
Because we're at these shows. Like I just had this out epiphany. Like, man, you know what? All these shows we go to, like, we never see our competitors. Like we're always the only Android-based tablet, you know, dash replacement.
I mean, I don't see it as a competition, only because no one else is really doing what we're doing. Unless you are putting in the effort that LinksWell is putting in, I really don't consider it a competition. Like when people go, well, what's the difference between you and this other brand? I'm like, everything.
You're not wrong.
You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely not wrong. So
that's just kind of where I stand.
Yeah, me too. But I think having an opportunity to make that point.
Right.
And again, I'm not trying to make, like, I'm not the guy that wants to be known. I don't want to be the company that's known for talking schmack on someone else. I just want to talk about how good we are.
Correct.
And so for me, this is a proof in the pudding, right? We spend a lot of time and money, a lot of effort in building displays and vehicles and paying for these shows and paying to get our guys to the shows and putting in all this extra effort to do and be here to get our brand out there so you can see it. And so when the question comes, why are these guys so much cheaper? Or, you know, apart from the product itself being very, very different, the company is very, very different, you know, and just us being here.
And you talk about paying the price, right? I mean, our families are paying the price too. I mean, I remember last year I missed both Mother's Day.
Yeah, you did.
And I missed Father's Day.
Yeah, you did.
But you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
You know, I happily went and did whatever we had to do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, that's the kind of price that not only we as people or a company, but our families as well.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we do it for the sake of bringing you the information, the quality, the support, everything else.
Yep, for sure. Right on, man. Well, I will say this. We have hit 20,000 subscribers. Dang. So it's time to give away that 1,000-watt amp, except I can't do it mobile because I need to be in the office. So next week, we'll give away the amp.
We should make a video of who we pick.
Well, we will. We'll do it in the episode, yeah.
Okay.
Because I push the button and I can screen share and all that, but I can't do that here.
Okay, yeah.
Because I need all the other components that I have in my office. So,
all right.
So what that means is if you're watching this, you have 5 days, maybe even 3 days to join in. I'll put the link in this one for you to join in if you watch this and you want to win that 1,000 watt amp. The drawing's going to happen within, this hits Monday. We'll be flying home Monday.
Yeah.
My guess is we might record Wednesday or Thursday, which means we'll pull the drawing there. So it gives you just a few days extra to so if you're already subscribed, you can still click the link and get in the drawing. And then, once this drawing is done, we'll figure out what we want to give away next.
Yep.
For the next
1,000 watts RMS Class D monoblock.
1 ohm stable.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a powerful little beast.
It pounds.
Does.
I've installed it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. We've got the 15s in our show trucks. So
yes.
But yeah, make sure you hit that. If you haven't subscribed, do hit subscribe. But this is us from Toronto. Pray for us, because who knows what the weather's going to be. Because it was snowing, then it was hot, then it was cold, and now it's supposed to rain. So it's a little bipolar. Us SoCal boys are struggling a bit with, not being in 65, 75 degrees sunny weather.
We'll deal with it for like half a day.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days out of the week.
Maybe.
And then, we're okay with it the rest of the year.
SoCal's better.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, from Toronto, from CMA Expo, this LinksWell Together podcast, episode 34. We will see you guys next week.